This paper is a big one. It's looking at functional and structural changes in the hippocampus of COVID-19 patients. For brain-related long COVID, the major complaints are word recall, difficulty creating and forming speech, issues working through problems mentally, along with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Where these neuropsychiatric complaints are negatively impacting an individual's life such that they can't do their daily activities, they're losing employment, they're having issues with employment, they're not being able to continue their education, do housework, or continue with their hobbies. So the major culprit is with microglia, which are resident macrophage-like cells, so the cells that clean the brain. These are responsible for synaptic structuring, restoration, and maintenance, where basically they prune the brain to keep it clean, active, and healthy. Now, these microglia, which are very beneficial for the brain, are seen to be decreased in activity in patients with long COVID, where we're seeing elevated levels of this right here, CC motif chemokine ligand 1,1, which is associated with inhibited neurogenesis, which prevents these microglia from being able to do their job. And these can be used as a biomarker in either the plasma or doing a spinal tap, so cerebrospinal fluid, to help identify COVID-19 patients with cognitive deficits. And then this is the cytokine storm that people talk about, where you have tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin-1 alpha, and then these complementary components, which basically create that brain inflammation response, where we'll also see these elevated in the brain, so they can also be used as sort of a biomarker. Now, we only have a few studies looking at brain MRIs for people with long COVID, but in this study, there was notable enlarged bilateral gray matter volumes in olfactory cortices, the hippocampi, the insulas, and the left Rolandic operculum, basically in this region of the brain right here. And another study looking 6 months out for long COVID patients saw enlarged gray matter volumes in the bilateral hippocampus and amygdala, which would be these regions of the brain right here. So the thought is that the damage to the hippocampus is causing these issues with memory, spatial working memory, executive functioning, and spatial processing. And that similar to Alzheimer's disease, the changes in neurogenesis, that decreased ability to prune the brain, is resulting in neuroinflammation-induced decline in the hippocampus, which results in dementia symptoms in COVID-19 patients, where the instance of long COVID in these studies here are showing that it's close to between 10 and 30% of non-hospitalized patients, 50 to 70% of hospitalized patients, and then 10 to 12% of all vaccinated patients. Where a large UK study is showing that about 1 in 3 patients actually are reporting neuropsychiatric complaints 6 months after a COVID infection. Now, unfortunately, there was a study done on treating patients with interleukin-6 receptor antagonists that was proposed earlier in the article after they survived the ICU. But unfortunately, this treatment did not change the overall incidence of cognitive impairment. So we still don't have any therapeutic selections available for these types of issues.